Hello and welcome to DELTAKAP. Today we are discussing setting up a company in the United Arab Emirates, a very prominent and much discussed topic in our daily working environment. How do we perceive the topic of starting a business in the UAE, and what do we believe is the right way to do it? After all, shouldn't company formation be approached with sense and reason, rather than as a one-click project? Let's first take a look at how the topic of starting a business is viewed locally here in the UAE. What does local advertising promise us? 0% tax. Set up in 3-4 working days, lifetime visa promotion, including bank account, and so on. This is how company formation is currently being presented to us in the UAE. With countless offers and promises of simplicity, one can easily lose track. For laypeople, this flood of information is difficult to sort through or evaluate. But it is not surprising because this area is not regulated. Anyone can, if they feel bored, offer to set up a company. The result is that business setup agents lurk on every street corner, selling company formations on a commission basis. In the case of free agents, the focus of recruitment is solely on pure company setup, with the aim of establishing a legally valid company in a free zone as quickly as possible. The more the better. Often these agents only work for a single free zone and only establish companies there. Once the license has been issued, their work is done, and suddenly the hustle and bustle give way to a calm that we only know from the desert at night. In the social media, the number of hits is even higher. Here you are literally spammed with offers and promotions. But when it comes to starting a company and laying the foundation for a long-term business, it is important to maintain an overview and obtain sufficient information, both in terms of breadth and depth. So please be careful and keep your eyes open. But before we dive deeper, let's take a step back. What does an entrepreneur actually need? Which free zone is the right one for the customer's needs? Do we simply need any free zone company, or should the company be tailored to a business model and, above all, to the actual needs? In addition, we should ask ourselves the crucial question of whether the business can even be run as a free zone company, or whether it would be better to set up a mainland company. In the case of a free zone, the key question is which of the roughly 50 UAE free zones is most suitable and best aligned with the customer's business model. That's why DELTAKAP approaches the establishment of free zone companies differently. The free zone company setup at DELTAKAP focuses on 4 stages. Stage 1, the needs analysis together with the entrepreneur. Stage 2, probing suitable free zones and obtaining offers, including setup costs and ongoing annual fees. Stage 3, the actual legal company incorporation. And Stage 4, after the legal establishment, registration with tax authorities, and the accounting system setup. Done right, this prepares you perfectly for international expansion and opens the door to new markets. So what happens in detail at each step? In the first step, the needs analysis, you work with your consultant to identify the key points essential for conducting your business, elements without which entering the market would not be possible. Remember, the setup should follow the business model, not the other way around. In other words, do I sell goods or services? Which requirements must I meet in the free zone? Do I need my own warehouse or an easy access to the labor market? Is proximity to the airport needed, or do I need port access instead? As you can see, every business model needs its own suitable individual configuration. And please note that considerations should not focus solely on the destination country, the United Arab Emirates, as setting up a business abroad also has tax implications and reporting obligations in Germany. And no, free zone companies do not pay 0% corporate tax per se. Only qualifying free zone companies can benefit from the zero tax rate. And yes, the new CIT, corporate income tax, has tied this to certain conditions, such as, for example, the existence of sufficient assets. This means having a physical office and employees who receive a salary. It would be a good idea to ask the agent, can I also benefit from the 0% corporate tax rate with the proposed setup? After analyzing your requirements, we then move on to identifying suitable free zones and compiling company setup and future annual costs based on the criteria developed. These will allow the most suitable free zone to be selected together with the customer. Once the most suitable free zone has been selected, the actual process of incorporating the company begins. Various documents, such as identity documents, possibly with certification, legalization, and apostille, as well as proof of the UBO, ultimate beneficial owner, and other formalities usually required when establishing a company, must be submitted. Once the license has been issued, your company is then officially and legally established. However, you will not only hold the license in your hands, you will also receive, among other things, the MOA, Memorandum of Association, and the shareholder certificate, since you must submit these documents when you register your new company with the German tax authorities at the latest. A company stamp created in accordance with official specifications will be mandatory in day-to-day business transactions in the UAE as well. So what happens after the incorporation? Once the license has been granted and you are one of the lucky owners of a corporate bank account in the UAE, a registration with the UAE tax office is due. Firstly, registering for corporate income tax, CIT, is mandatory. The Federal Tax Authority will issue the free zone company a tax number, known as a TRN, tax registration number, along with a certificate of registration for corporate tax in the United Arab Emirates. This certificate should always be kept in your records. In addition, it is important to understand that maintaining accounting records of individual business transactions is essential. Accounting not only forms the basis for assessing the company's financial situation, but also serves as the foundation for determining any VAT liability or credit. In addition, ongoing accounting is a prerequisite for the preparation of the annual financial statement, which, after a successful audit, is usually a prerequisite for license renewal in the free zone. Subsequently, there is the question of registration for the value-added tax, VAT. The application for the Certificate of Registration for Value-Added Tax in the United Arab Emirates is also made to the tax authority and is possible within the following limits. Registration is mandatory for turnover of 375,000 dirhams per year or more, and taxpayers have the option of early registration with turnover of 187,500 dirhams per year or more. Our DELTAKAP team on site in the UAE will also support you here. As you can see, there are a number of points to consider and explore in advance when setting up a company in the UAE. Leverage DELTAKAP's expertise to make your company formation in the UAE a success. With our experience and structured setup process, nothing will stand in the way of your market entry. We are very happy to assist you.